Welcome back, my duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and I'm already shuffling up. Yesterday, I showed you guys a deck for Metalfoes. If you haven't had a chance to go see that deck list now, maybe pause this video and come back once you've seen the deck list. It should be right on the channel. It'll be part of my Master Game Collection playlist. I think that's a great way to put everything together for you guys. But if you're just here for the test hands, again, I'm going to do one going first, one going second, and then I'm just going to kind of maybe play around with it a little bit, see where we land at as far as time. So we're going to try to set up a board or try to show maybe how to tear down a board based on first and second. And again, I'm going to go with the exact list I had in the video yesterday. We're not going to add the third copy of Bismugear to this version. We're not going to do any of that silliness. So everything is as it was. So I think that's probably about shuffled. Let's just, well, I'm not going to get that card, but let's go ahead and get our top five and see what we could do if we went first. So we'll set this off to the side where you guys can see it because I, for some reason, zoom in. We got Cerberus, we got Volflame, Stealing, Teleport, and Stealing. So real quick, I do not have any level 1, or sorry, scale links. Oh my goodness. You guys know I can't talk, but this is pathetic. I have no scale 1s. So not too much I'm going to be able to do in the way of going ahead and like professionally setting up my board. And this is where my consultant Phil would be like, I told you to run 2 of those painful decisions. So we're going to pretend he was right. Let's say that was painful decision. The whole essence here is while we have nothing on board, we're going to go ahead. We're going to put Serb into a link zone, or sorry, a pendulum scale, show that there's nothing in the other scale, blow him up. He'll go to the top of the extra deck over here. We'll go ahead, get out another level 7 or lower, get Jackal King to hand. We'll scale Jackal King real quick. And then when we blow up Jackal King, we'll be able to summon the Cerberus. And now we'll be able to start counting up spell counters. So again, let's say Phil was right. Let's put the emergency teleport away. Let's play it like it was his deck. And he told me to play the painful decision for a reason, guys. So with painful decision, what we would now do is 1, activate it. 2, give him 2 spell counters. We would send a level 4 lower normal, like silvered, to the discard pile to add another copy of that card to our hand. And what that's going to do for us is exactly what Phil said. This is going to give us the ability to not only play into our pendulum effect here and start building up Cerberus, but additionally, it's going to allow us to set our scales. And once we set both scales, we're actually going to have Cerberus at 6 counters, meaning he is going to not be able to be destroyed and also spot remove something. And then we're going to be able to go ahead and special summon real quick. And I'm not sure, but we might also be able to set up a control real quick here. So let's see how it works. So it doesn't matter. I don't think we're going back in there. So we need... yeah, that's not happening. What I was checking was to see if we had 2 7s. Because I got a 6 and an 8. If this had been another Volflame instead of 2 Stealings, we would definitely have been able to board our Silvered and Stealing as being our 2 scales. That's 2 spell activations more. That puts him up to 6. We would be able to swing our scales, board all of these, including the Jackal King that we already had. And at this point, had this been another Volflame, this would have been your Odd Eyes Absolute, at which point you would have done any link 2, it doesn't even matter. Except it does. Sorry, Jackal King would actually be up there, Master Rule 5 stuff. And then if it was, we'd be able to go into Odd Eyes Absolute, and from Odd Eyes Absolute, you would be able to, again, you probably generate IP Masquerena real quick, just because. But if you went into the Odd Eyes Absolute, then you'd go ahead and you'd toss them both. And this would allow you to get that card, plus you'd be sitting on Odd Eye's Vortex Dragon as well, which is more of a kind of a break board situation. Right here, you do have the option to go into Link 3. So what I would do probably is still set up the Masquerena, take the Jackal King, and it doesn't matter, take the weaker one, take the Stealing. Go ahead, Link. These will go back to the top of your extra deck. Then you'll have your IP Masquerena. You'll be able to do this on your opponent's turn now, go into the Unicorn if you still had card in hand. You'd be able to do that. You do have the ability to use any of these cards to break each other, to go ahead and set a Metalfoes spell trap. You can go into Metalfoes Fusion. There's a couple plays that you could do from there. This wasn't too bad. This has always been, for me, more of a want to go second build. Again, it doesn't hurt going first. But I just prefer going second. So, like, let's go ahead and try that real quick. Show you guys just one quick hand there. So let's get everybody back in there. A little shuffly shuffle. Brand new sleeves kind of sticking a little bit. Which is weird. Normally they just fly out of my hand. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. So just real quick. Shuffly shuffle. And cut. And 2, 4, 5. Set our draw there. Set our deck here. Having chosen to go second, I start with Vanisher, Rescue Rabbit, Jackal King, Rescue Rabbit, Burial Goods. Jackal King on his own, not so good. The Rescue Rabbit, Burial Goods, not terrible. We get Melcaster, which is okay. Still lacking our scales for real. And then what we'll do is we'll just try to play out of it now. So first things first, you play your Foolish Burial Goods, throw away your Fusion. There it is. I probably passed the other one sometime in the middle. So now that Fusion's in the discard pile, we can go ahead and shuffle that back into our deck at any point to draw a card. I prefer doing this after you do your Rescue Rabbit effect. But that's just me. That is just me. Doesn't need to be the world's best shuffle where you guys aren't great. Well, maybe you guys are grading me. I don't know. So we got that set up. We'll play our rabbit. We'll go ahead, pop rabbit. He's banished. 2 of the same. Doesn't really matter. They just have to be 4 stars or less. If we take a look at our hand real quick, we'll get a better guess of who's still in there. I don't think I had any of the normals yet. I don't. I do have scales 1, so we probably don't want to play the scale 8s out. We want a better chance at drawing them, so let's go for silvereds. We'll play those. So boom, boom. Now that we did that, let's go ahead and activate our Metalfoes Fusion from the discard pile. See about drawing into a card. So one more time. If this is in the graveyard, you can shuffle it back in, then draw one. So we might draw that same card back. We might draw into something a little bit better, something to freeze up our plays. Either way, we do have the ability to actually play our Vanisher at this point. So that's pretty cool. And cut. So our draw 1 is Emergency Teleport. Now again, I know what Phil's saying over there. Phil is going, you know, if you had done what I said, you'd be able to now send 1 for 1 and get the 8s out, and set your scales and at least summon into your Jackal King. And he's right again. And I would end up summoning out my Melcaster with that. So let's pretend he was right one more time. So let's pretend that was actually the painful decision that it should have been, based on his advice. That would let us toss out 2 of our 8s. So we toss a stealing to grab a stealing. I got to start listening to Phil. So now that we did that, what we would be sitting at is we're going to go ahead and put Stealing and Vanisher into scales. I know. Then you could Pendulum Summon. You'd be able to get all three of these guys. Now you have a full field. I don't really think the board placement matters too much. And what we can do, and what we maybe should do, is look at Melcaster's effect real quick. When it's destroyed, you can add a Metalfoes Pendulum from your extra deck to your hand, except same name. So you could do that. But additionally, what we could set up right now, we could set up a full power Appaloosa as long as we keep one of the Silvereds around. We can't activate the Rescue Rabbit this turn. We could set up a Boral Sword if we needed to slay him over something. So like you have access to either of your Link 4s. And of course, you could also do the IP route if you wanted. You do have Jackal King, you do have Melcaster, that's 2K and 2400, 217s. So there are some plays that you can make here. But this would not be a terrible... Again, this deck was meant for casual. If you guys watched the deck profile, you guys know what I'm talking about. So I think when it came to the actual videos, I think he made his point. Painful Decision should be it too. It should not be Emergency Teleport. He's going to be so happy that he was right. Or he'll just tell me he told me so. Some of the stuff I really enjoyed in this deck are these simple plays of, again, like as long as you start with Master Cerberus, you get to play Jackal King. And I wanted to maybe play around with these ratios later, where it's more of like a 3-2 or a 3-1. As the Cerberus is really the start of the play, because at the start of any play where you don't have another scale, you can board this, pop it, get this, board it, pop it, and then this actually puts your Cerberus on field and starts letting you generate effect in the spell counters. This deck doesn't really play too many spells, but the fact that you do have to board up a couple more Pendulum Scales is good. So that's very good. The Painful Decision is very good for picking and choosing which cards you want in your hand. One thing I missed on my main deck is just because I didn't get my hands on them in time were the Gold Drivers and a third Bismugear. Those were kind of misses. Rescue Rabbit is just great in this deck because, again, you rarely want to normal summon the Metalfoes themselves. So, like, you can always normal summon the Rescue Rabbit. And if you have the Gold Drivers, you have 4 different names that have 3 copies each. You've got 12, essentially 12 cards that could be played off this, and you're only going to be grabbing 2 at a time. Same thing with Painful Decision. It's just the difference of boarding both or pitching one to get one, which is still very good. Melcaster and Volflame equal some of my favorite plays in this deck. And again, I didn't really get to show them because I didn't draw that during the test hands. Those are either Odd Eyes Absolute if you're setting up into a control form, or Red Eyes Flare Metal because you already did massive amounts of damage and you want to limit how many cards they can activate and resolve, and then finalize the game by burning them down. If you do go the Odd Eyes route, you simply want to link that away as fast as possible so that it goes from field to discard pile, so that you can go ahead and develop into your Odd Eyes Vortex. That's really important in this deck. Alcahest is just great because on your opponent's turn, again, it can just start equipping itself with your opponent's monsters. The fun, weird part is he gains defense based on their attack, and it's the combined attacks of anything he's absorbed. So he doesn't really have an upper limit, except the upper limit is 5 because he has to have a place to put them. And so again, you always summon this one out in defense just for that effect. Again, you don't really need Adamante. Adamante is just one of those, like, maybe you pulled something off with Alcahest. and now you want to use it as part of the material, you can. You have like an extra rescue rabbit or something in your hand or whatever that you can't resolve. You can fuse with that, whatever. Mithralum allows you to actually get some regeneration from the discard pile, and since it's Metalfoes cards, this could be your spell traps. Additionally, so again, that's your counter and your combination just coming right back, or any cards that you actually sent off the painful decision, which I'm now going to be upping to 2. Like that is official. It's 2 painful decisions and 0 emergency teleports. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that just screams that it needs to be known. Like Foolish Burial Goods is in here for the Metalfoes fusion. It turns it into a draw 1. And if you've got anything else that can thin out the deck first, you want to do those actions before the draw 1, just so that your draw isn't stale. Like you don't want to do Summon a Rescue Rabbit, then do this, and then draw into one of the normals that you actually wanted to play. The deck is pretty forgiving. It is a casual build. And again, like I said, if you guys haven't seen my my deck list video yet, maybe just go ahead and check that out. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I feel like I goofed up a lot, but I had fun building this. I had fun playing around with it. And if you guys pick it up, I hope that you guys have fun with it too. So if this helped you guys, if you enjoyed it, do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Let your friends know. And then the most important part, guys, please have a great day. Go enjoy something, and I'll see you guys on the next video. See you later.